Okay, hi again students, so welcome back to my video. Today we will continue chemistry form 5 chapter 2 carbon compound. Okay, so we will cover another subtopic 2.2 homologous series. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 16 to 18. Rejoice always, pray without ceasing, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. So homologous series 2.2. So learning standard, you are able to explain homologous series, construct molecular formula and structural formula, and name the members of homologous series, and also describe the physical properties of the compounds in a homologous series. So what is homologous series? Okay, so there are millions of organic compounds known so far. So in order to study the physical properties and also the chemical reactions of organic compounds, all the organic compounds are classified into groups of compound called homologous series. Okay, so because the organic compounds are so many, there are too many organic compounds. So in order to study the physical and chemical properties and also the chemical reactions of the organic compounds, so it is easier if they are classified into groups of compound lah. So we call homologous series. So the characteristics of homologous series, okay, all the organic compound in the homologous series must have, the first one, the same general formula. Okay, the same general formula. And the second one, the same functional group. So what is functional group? A functional group is a group of atoms bonded to an organic molecular compound. Okay, the functional group determines the chemical properties of the homologous series, and the chemical reactions occur at the functional groups. Okay, the third one, the characteristic of homologous series, all the compound in a homologous series must have the same chemical properties. Okay, and then consecutive members differ by one carbon atom and two hydrogen atom, CH2, or differ with relative molecular mass 14. So maksudnya every member in the homologous series, so for example we have the first member and the second member and the third member, beza di antara member pertama member kedua ini adalah CH2, satu carbon atom, dua hydrogen atom, ataupun dia punya relative molecular mass adalah berbeza, gap dia 14. Okay, for example. Okay, so for example here 14, di sini dia punya RMM sudah 28. Okay, yang ketiga tambah lagi 14. Okay, begitu And then yang seterusnya adalah physical properties that gradually change from one member to the next. Okay, so one member to the next member, dia punya physical properties will gradually change. Okay, gradually change. So itu adalah characteristics of homologous series. Alright, so the homologous series that we learn in this chapter are, we have alkane, okay, alkene, alkyne, alcohol, carboxylic acid, and ester. Okay, so each homologous series consists of members according to the number of carbon atom. For example, here we have homologous series alkane. Okay, alkane here, dia punya general formula is, you should remember this, CnH2n plus 2. N here is integer from 1, 2, 3 sampai lah. Okay, panjang-panjang. Okay, so remember alkane punya general formula, CnH2n plus 2. For example, if the N here is 1, so we have CH2n, 2 times 1, 2, 2 plus 2, 4. So CH4. Begitu. Alright. So alkane punya functional group, this is the functional group of alkane. So C, carbon, and single bond. single bond, single bond, single bond. Okay, the name of the functional group, okay, single bond between carbon atoms. Okay, single bond between carbon atoms. And the type of organic compound is saturated hydrocarbon. So still remember, saturated only contain single bond between the carbon atoms. Okay, how about alkene? Alkene general formula is CnH2n. Okay, and dia starting from 2. It's not starting with 1. Dia start with 2. Okay, because this is the functional group of alkene, C. Kamu nampak di sini dia ada double bond di antara carbon atom itu. So dia punya name of functional group double bond. Dia ada double bond between the carbon atoms. So the type of organic compound is unsaturated hydrocarbon sebab dia ada double bond between the carbon atoms. Okay, so that's why dia punya integer n di sini start with 2 sebab dia tidak boleh n equal to 1 because dia perlu ada double bond di antara karbon dengan karbon. So at least dia ada paling kurang 2 karbon. Okay, so that's why the n here start with number 2. Okay, yang ketiga adalah alkyne. Alkyne di sini dia punya general formula adalah CnH2n minus 2. Okay, minus 2. Kali ini minus 2. And dia punya n start with number 2, 3 and so on. So functional group dia adalah this one. So dia ada triple bonds between the carbon atoms. Okay, types of organic compound is unsaturated hydrocarbon also. Okay, next one is alcohol. Alcohol general formula CnH2n plus 1 OH. And the N here start with 1, 2 and so on. Functional group dia adalah OH. The name of OH here is hydroxyl. So alcohol functional group adalah hydroxyl group. So the types of organic compound is a non-hydrocarbon. If you still remember what is hydrocarbon, it is a compound that consists only hydrogen and carbon. Okay, but here for alcohol dia juga ada O, oxygen. So this is non-hydrocarbon. Okay, next one is carboxylic acid. General formula CnH2n plus 1 COOH. And the N here starting with 0, 1, 2 and so on. So this is the functional group of carboxylic acid. C double bond O OH. So the name of this functional group is carboxyl group, and same also like alcohol, this is a non-hydrocarbon due to the presence of oxygen. Okay, and then we have also ester. Ester, the general formula is CmH2m plus 1 COOCnH2n plus 1. For the N, okay, the N here start with 0. Okay, 0, 1, 2 and so on. Okay, for the M typo and the N start with 1, 2, 3 and so on. So sebenarnya kalau kita perasan, kalau kamu perasan, sebenarnya ester ini adalah hasil gabungan di antara alkohol dengan carboxylic acid. Okay, so dia punya functional group adalah COO. So the name of functional group is carboxylate. This one is also a non-hydrocarbon. Okay, non-hydrocarbon. Okay, so the molecular formula, structural formula and the nomenclature of the homologous series members. The molecular formula is the chemical formula that shows the type and actual number of atoms of each element in a molecule. This is molecular formula. Okay, this molecular formula shows the type, okay, the type of atom, the actual number of atom, okay, in a molecule. While the structural formula shows the type of bond and how the atoms in the molecules are bonded to each other. So example here, okay, example here. This is the molecular formula of methane. Okay, methane, CH4. Okay, electron arrangements in methane. So from here, we know we have 1 carbon atom and 4 hydrogen atom. So the electron arrangements in methane, we have 1 carbon and 4 hydrogen. So of course, this one is covalent bond. Okay, covalent bond between the C and the H, sharing of electron. Alright, and this is the structural formula of methane. C and H here, H, 4H. Okay, so like this one it represent 1 pair of electrons shared to form a single covalent bond. Okay, so kita boleh bezakan di antara molecular formula dengan structural formula. Molecular formula ini, tetapi structural formula adalah melihat kepada structure dia. Okay, so the names of the member of each homologous series in a straight chain is according to the IUPAC nomenclature, consists of 2 components. The first one, root name, and the second one, dia punya suffix. Root name represent the number of carbon atom in the longest chain. Longest chain. Suffix ini adalah represent the homologous series. So kita tengok dia punya penamaan. Okay. Table 2.4 shows the root name of the members of homologous series according to the number of carbon atoms in the longest carbon chain. So, if the number of carbon atom is 1, the root name is meth. Okay, remember, meth. If we have 2 number of carbon atom, so the root name is eth. 3 carbon atom, prop. 4 carbon atom, but. 5 pent, 6 hex, 7 hept, 8 oct, 9 non, 10 dec. Okay, so the table 2.5 shows the suffix of homologous series members. So homologous series suffix dia, kalau alkene, suffix dia adalah ane, ane. Kalau alkene, suffix dia in. Alkyne, ine. Alcohol, ol. Carboxylic acid, suffix dia oic, oic. Ester, suffix dia oet, oate. So how we name compound? Okay, how we name the homologous series? So for example here, write the molecular formula and the name of alkene with 3 carbon atoms. So kamu tengok di sini 3 carbon atoms, alkene. So refer to the table 2.4 and 2.5. You look at 3 carbon atom. 3 carbon atom is prop. Kan? Prop. So alkane suffix dia adalah ane, ane. Okay, so you add the root name, you add with the suffix. So nama dia adalah propane, propane. Okay, propane. Okay, so N dia adalah 3. N3 di sini adalah refer to the number of carbon atom. Okay, so CnH2n plus 2. This is the general formula for alkane. CnH2n plus 2. N itu 3, iaitu carbon atom dia 3. So kita ganti N dengan 3 lah. So N become 3. So 2N, 2 times 3 plus 2, 6 plus 2 become 8. So this is the punya molecular formula, C3H8. What is this C3H8? This is propane. Okay, propane. So kita sudah cari dia punya molecular formula and also dia punya naming, propane. Okay, propane. Okay, itu adalah cara untuk penamaan dan juga structural formula dan juga molecular formula dia. Alright, so another example, if we have 4 carbon atom, okay, 4 carbon atom, and then we need to write the molecular, we need to name the alcohol with 4 carbon atom. So alcohol is suffix dia ol, so dia punya number of carbon atom 4, so nama dia adalah butanol. Okay, so we go to alkane first. So alkane here, photograph 2.2 and 2.3 shows the use of members of alkane homologous series in their natural existence and for cooking respectively. So here we have the thin waxy layer on fruits is an alkane. Butane gas C4H10 used for cooking in alkane is an alkane. So the structural formula of alkane, CH4. Okay, this is the structural formula. Okay, so this is model lah, showing the model of CH4 molecule. So first member, the first member N is equal to 1, meaning the number of carbon atom is 1. So the molecular formula is C1 H2 times 1 plus 2 become 4, so CH4. So this is the first molecular formula for alkane member lah, okay. So the name is methane. Okay, dia punya root name add with dia punya suffix, so methane. Okay, so alkane ini adalah saturated hydrocarbon, saturated because only contain single covalent bond between the carbon atom. Okay, dia punya functional group adalah a single covalent bond between carbon atom. This is the functional group of alkane. General formula, you should remember this one, CnH2n plus 2, and the N start with 1, 2, 3 and so on. Okay, so each carbon atom is bonded to 4 other atoms by a single covalent bond, CC or CH. So untuk alkane semua dia punya bond adalah single bond, tidak ada double bond ataupun triple bond. Okay, how about alkene? Alkene is unsaturated hydrocarbon because of the presence of double covalent bonds between the carbon atoms. So dia punya functional group adalah double bond between carbon atoms. So this is the functional group of alkene. General formula dia adalah CnH2n, and the N must start with 2, 3 and so on. Okay, so example, the first member is N is equal to 2. First member of alkene is N is equal to 2. Number carbon atom dia 2. So the molecular formula is C2H2 times 2. So N itu kita ganti dengan 2. So kita akan dapat C2H4. This is the first member punya molecular formula. Okay, so the root name obtained from the longest carbon chain. Longest carbon chain dia berapa karbon? C2. So C2 8 kan, 8. So suffix untuk alkene adalah ene, so you add, you will get ethene, ethene, ethene. Okay, so this is dia punya structural formula. So kita ada double bond di antara karbon dengan karbon, karbon dengan hydrogen single bond, but di antara karbon dengan karbon di sini ada double bond. Okay, so this is the structural formula of ethene. How about alkyne? Alkyne is unsaturated hydrocarbon because of the presence of triple covalent bonds between the carbon atoms. So this is the functional group for alkyne. There are triple bond between the carbon atoms. So general formula is CnH2n minus 2. So N start with 2, 3 and so on. Example, the first member N is equal to 2. So molecular formula dia, kamu change sahaja N kepada 2. C2H2 times 2 minus 2. So this is the molecular formula of the first member of alkyne. Okay, C2H2. So the root name for this one is obtained from the longest carbon chain. Suffix dia adalah "-ine". So we have 2 carbon, add with "-ine" suffix, so ethyne. So this is the structural formula of ethyne. So we have triple bond here between the carbon and carbon atoms. Okay. Alcohol. Alcohol is a non-hydrocarbon because of the presence of oxygen atoms selain daripada hydrogen dengan carbon. Functional group dia adalah hydroxyl group OH. General formula CnH2n plus 1 OH, and the N start with 1, 2, 3 and so on. Okay. So this is the examples of various items produced from alcohol. Antiseptic, perfume, fuel dengan alcohol as a solvent. Okay. So this one is examples of alcohol. Third member. So third member N dia 3. Molecular formula dia CnH2n plus 1 OH. Kamu ganti N dengan 3. So C3H2 times 3 plus 1 OH. So we will get C3H7OH. So apakah nama dia ini? Name the straight chain alcohol according to the IUPAC nomenclature. First, you determine the number of carbon atoms in the longest carbon chain containing the hydroxyl group OH. Okay. So for example here, we have this one, longest chain, containing the OH, containing this OH hydroxyl group. Okay. To derive the name of alkane, containing the same number of carbon atom as alcohol. Okay, so now we will replace the E ending from the alkane with ol. Okay, ol. So nama dia adalah 1, 2, 3. 3 carbon, so propane. So now we ganti propanol. Okay, propanol. Propane kita ganti untuk alkohol propanol. Okay, so the hydroxyl position is the first carbon. So IUPAC name dia adalah propan 1-ol. So this is the naming of IUPAC, IUPAC, International Union Pure Applied Chemistry. So here we have carbon number 1, carbon number 2, carbon number 3. The numbering of this carbon ialah according to carbon number 1 mesti yang paling dekat dengan OH, paling dekat ataupun attached to the hydroxyl group OH. This is the OH kan. So we will number from left because the OH is here. So C1, C2, C3. So kita namakan dia, okay, propan. Propan di sini because this is 3 carbon atom, 3 carbon atom. Okay, one here refer to the OH attached to the carbon number 1. Okay, 1. And then all ini adalah suffix untuk alcohol. So dia punya IUPAC name untuk alkohol ini adalah propan-1-ol. Okay, propan-1-ol. The alcohol name is propanol. IUPAC name dia adalah propan-1-ol. The number 1 here refer to the positions of the hydroxyl group. Dia berada pada carbon number 1. Kalau lah OH dia ini berada pada carbon number 2, kita punya nama di sini IUPAC name sudah propan-2-ol. Faham ah? Propan-2-ol. Okay, seterusnya adalah carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid is a non-hydrocarbon. Okay, because dia contain oxygen atom other than carbon and hydrogen. Functional group adalah carboxyl group, COOH. General formula dia adalah CnH2n plus 1 COOH, and the N here start with 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is the structural formula of the first member of carboxylic acid. Okay, HCOOH. Okay, HCOOH. So vinegar contains ethanoic acid, CH3COOH, which is also known as acetic acid. Okay, so ant bites and vinegar. This one shows ant bites, and this one is vinegar. So naming of carboxylic acid is according to IUPAC nomenclature. Okay, determine the number of carbon atoms and state the corresponding alkane name. Replace the E ending from the alkane with oic acid. Example, molecular formula HCOOH. The number of carbon here is 1. So the corresponding alkane name is methane. So we change the E in the methane with oic acid. So nama dia adalah methanoic acid. Methanoic acid. Okay. Kedua di sini adalah molecular formula CH3COOH. Berapa karbon ada di sini? Ada 2. 1, 2. Okay. So untuk 2 karbon, alkane nama dia ethane. But dalam carboxylic acid, kita ganti E di hujung itu dengan oic acid. So nama dia adalah ethanoic acid. Okay, ethanoic acid. So here the first member is N is equal to 0. Betul kan? N is equal to 0. So bila N equal to 0, first member C0H2 times 0 plus 1, dia punya molecular formula adalah HCOOH. Ini first member. First member iaitu nama dia methanoic acid. Okay, methanoic acid. Okay, so describing the properties of compounds in a homologous series. The physical properties of alkane, alkene, and alkyne. Members of homologous series of alkane, alkene, and alkyne consist of neutral molecules. Alkane, alkenes, and alkynes have physical properties of covalent compound. Okay, you still remember covalent compound? So covalent compound, when you know the properties, physical properties of the covalent compound, begitulah juga physical properties of alkane, alkene, and alkynes. Okay, example, solubility. Alkane, alkene, and alkyne soluble in organic solvent but insoluble in water. Electrical conductivity, they cannot conduct electricity in all states. Okay, melting and boiling point, they have low melting point and low boiling point. Okay, that increase as the molecule size increase. Okay, meaning here, walaupun dia punya melting point and boiling point tu rendah, tetapi dia punya melting point dengan boiling point itu akan meningkat apabila size of the molecule increase lah. Density less dense than water. This is the physical properties of alkane, alkene, and alkyne. So therefore, it can be concluded that as the number of carbon atoms in each molecule increases, the molecular size also increases, so the van der Waals force or the attraction between the molecules also becomes stronger. So more heat energy is needed to overcome this force. So that's why the melting point and boiling points of these molecules increase. Okay? Physical properties of alcohol and carboxylic acid. Alcohol and carboxylic acid are non-hydrocarbon organic compounds that contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. The boiling point of alcohol and carboxylic acids are relatively higher than their corresponding alkenes. Okay? Higher than their corresponding alkenes. Okay? For example, ethanol dengan ethene. Ethanol dia punya boiling point is higher daripada ethene. Okay, begitu. Their solubility in water decreases as the molecule size increase. Okay? So this is the physical properties of alcohol dengan carboxylic acid. Okay? First one, boiling point. Alcohol, low boiling point that increases with the increasing number of carbon atoms per molecule. Carboxylic acid, also low boiling point and also increase with the increasing number of carbon atoms per molecule. Physical state at room temperature. So at room temperature, the first 11 members of alcohol at room temperature, they exist as liquids. Carboxylic acid, the first 9 members of carboxylic acid, they exist as liquid. Solubility in water. Methanol, ethanol, propanol are miscible in water in all proportion. As the molecular size increases, the solubility decreases. Carboxylic acid, methanoic acid, ethanoic acid, propanoic acid are very soluble in water, but as the molecular size increases, the solubility in water also decreases. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you can understand this subtopic. Okay, so I repeat 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 16 until 18. Rejoice always, pray without ceasing, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 16 until 18. Thank you.